I want to share this with you guys because this is something that I struggled with for a very long time, right? And it's something that I'm starting to get a hold over. A lot of us in childhood, in some way, shape, or form, not that our parents do it on purpose, but we're rejected of love. We're rejected of validation. We're rejected of acceptance, right? But the biggest one is really love. And the reason that is hinders us is because going into adulthood, we'll try and keep ourselves in the same patterns, right? For those of you who don't fully understand what the ego is and what it does, your ego is literally just a protective mechanism. It's there to protect your old identity, right? So let's say you're working on growth, you're working on changing. Your ego is going to fight you from actually fully doing that. What it's going to do is protect the old identity. So everything it does is going, every way it's going to try and get you to behave is to go back to the old familiar things. Even though the familiar may suck, it may be you being broke, overweight, rejecting love, the reality that your ego is trying to protect, or the identity that your ego is trying to protect, may not serve you anymore. It's still going to try and get you to go back there as you're changing. So the new unfamiliar thing is a challenge to get to, because you have to learn to override your ego from stopping you from building new habits, right? And the reason I bring up the ego is because the ego is what I'm about to talk about. So for those of us in our life who have not necessarily, for myself, it wasn't that my mom rejected me of love, right? My mom was just in and out of my life. So that's how my brain perceived it. I would get love from mom and then it would get taken from me. Or this was something that I dealt with heavily as a kid too, right? I would get good grades, my parents praised me. I get bad grades, my parents shit on me. And it was like a cycle of receiving love and having it taken away, right? Or like, even if you just get in trouble as a kid, right? Your parents will be mad at you and treat you different. So we get taught that love is going to get taken away from us. And our brain gets used to these cycles, going through those cycles over and over again. So coming into adulthood, it tries to keep the same cycle. It wants to keep you in the same cycle. Your ego wants to keep you in the same cycle because it is familiar to you. So I'll teach you through my own experience. This is how I started to recognize this pattern, right? I would look at relationships that I had and then they were gone. And then I would have new relationships and then they're gone. And then and I'm more specifically talking with friends, new relationships and then they're gone. And what I didn't understand that was happening was, as soon as my brain felt like love was going to be taken away from me, or I was getting too close to somebody, close enough to where the love that person had for me could be taken, my brain would get me to behave in a way, my ego realistically would get me to behave in a way to get the love taken away, right? When realistically it was my own doing. And most people don't even recognize this pattern, right? That we as people, it's really not even us realistically, it's our ego that causes us to do this, will behave in a way so that instead of somebody else being able to take the love away from us, we take it away from ourselves so that they can't do it, so that they can't reject us. So we reject them first so that they cannot reject us. I hope this is making sense. So the only way that we can actually fix this is, for one, start giving love to ourselves so that we don't need it from somebody else. But also start recognizing the pattern, right? Start recognizing that before we start to push somebody away, there's these stories that we create about these people in our heads that, oh, they're bad people, they're doing this to me, they're doing that to me, they're talking behind my back. They're like, we create all these scenarios that aren't even true in our head, and we get ourselves to believe them. And then boom, we start pushing the person away little by little, little by little, until eventually that relationship no longer exists. And we did it so incrementally over time that we don't even fully realize what we did. So like I said, in order to get out of that cycle, you have to have a lot of awareness. Why am I creating this story? Is this story true? And then I also said we have to start loving ourselves so that we don't need it from somebody else. Because when we get it from us, ourselves, it can't get taken away from us. And this is a vicious cycle that people will go through for years and years and years. I know I went through it myself. And once you recognize it, this is something I want to give you, because once you start to recognize this, it can be very easy to shame and guilt yourself for doing what you did, right? I should have never done that. I could have done this. I could have done that. And it's not even worth going there, right? All we just need to do is recognize, I found the pattern. I'm going to be aware of it. I'm going to be aware of where my mind goes to try and take me back to that pattern. And I'm just going to stop the pattern altogether. And then also, like I said, start giving yourself love. Self-love doesn't look like the external stuff that society tells you. Self-love, yes, it can be, right? Taking care of your skin and getting your nails done and getting facials, getting massages. Yes, that's a piece of self-love, but that's a superficial piece of self-love. The true self-love that you need to do is food. What food are you putting in your body? How do you treat yourself in your head? How do you talk to yourself in your head? What thoughts do you allow in your mind? That is a true self-love. Will you sit down and do breath work to relax your nervous system? All the internal stuff is where you truly show yourself self-love. So I don't want you guys to be like, oh, so now I'm just going to do all these external things that show I love myself. No, do the internal things. That's where true, long-lasting change happens. But I really hope that this one helps you guys, because I'm telling you, I was stuck in these cycles for years, not even recognizing that that's what I was doing. And now I got a hold of them to where the relationships that I have now just keep getting better and better. And they actually keep getting better because I'm catching myself creating those stories. I'm catching myself trying to push people away. And it's been dope being able to catch those cycles. But like I said, I hope this helps you guys. If you know somebody who could benefit from this video, just send it to them, please. And then also let me know in the comments what you think about the video. What helped you, what didn't help you, what was your biggest takeaway from the video. But as always, love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Deuces.